It felt like a purpose in a way, I needed a reason, something driving me to get in shape, and I loved it.
The sister wives world just exploded, and Janelle Brown is holding the detonator. After 29 years of marriage, 3 decades of keeping family secrets, and countless episodes of biting her tongue, Janelle just shattered the carefully constructed narrative we've been fed about the Brown family collapse.
They will find your weakness, they will push you to the point where you break.
The financial records, the favoritism patterns, the strategic deflections, she's connecting dots that paint a picture so calculated, so deliberately orchestrated, that it changes everything we thought we knew about this polygamous empire's downfall. Janelle didn't just share her side of the story, she exposed what she believes is an elaborate protection scheme designed to shield one wife while sacrificing everyone else on the altar of public perception.
I live at 7,000 feet, I start swimming, so I put on a 50-pound Birkin rucksack and started hiking. I was physically prepared, but I didn't think I was.
According to Janelle's explosive revelations, Kody Brown has been playing a very specific role in this family drama, and it's not the bumbling patriarch we've been watching stumble through relationship after relationship. She's alleging this is strategic manipulation at its finest. The woman who managed household budgets while others made the spending decisions just laid out a theory that has the sister wives community absolutely reeling. Janelle suggests that Kody's increasingly erratic behavior, his controversial statements, his seeming determination to alienate his other wives and older children isn't accidental incompetence. It's calculated deflection designed to absorb criticism and redirect blame away from the wife who matters most to him now.
Physically, I found my breaking point was like more mentally. There's just a few things they would tell me 10 things I had to do, and I remembered 5. Or they'd tell me 5 things to do, and I'd remember 3.
Picture Janelle finally breaking her diplomatic silence after years of weathering financial crises, custody battles, and watching her sister wives exit one by one. Now she's speaking with the clarity of someone who's finally connected the manipulation threads, and what she's revealing about Kody's protection strategy for Robyn Brown is absolutely staggering. The accusations flying from Janelle aren't just about hurt feelings or typical plural marriage jealousy. She's describing a systematic campaign where Kody positions himself as the lightning rod, the family villain, the one absorbing all the criticism while carefully preserving Robyn's image as the innocent victim caught in the crossfire.
No, I've already lost you to this. I'm not going to stop this from happening.
According to Janelle's theory, every controversial statement, every alienating decision, every public relations disaster serves a deeper purpose in this protection racket. But here's where Janelle's revelation gets even more explosive. She's not just accusing Kody of favoritism. Every Sister Wives viewer has witnessed that pattern for years. She's suggesting that Robyn herself is orchestrating this protection strategy from behind the scenes, influencing Kody's decisions to ensure that her role in the family's disintegration remains minimized, while everyone else takes the heat.
I needed to apologize. I was an open walking wound of emotion, and I wanted that healing so much. It is very deeply spiritual to me to make this right with myself and my exes.
The internet is absolutely buzzing because Janelle's accusations reframe every controversial moment we've witnessed. Those heated arguments with Christine, the custody battles with Mary, the financial decisions that left other wives struggling. Janelle is suggesting these weren't just Kody's individual choices, but part of a larger strategy designed to protect one marriage while sacrificing all the others. And the timing of these revelations couldn't be more dramatic, dropping during a season where the Brown family's plural marriage experiment has officially collapsed into separate households, separate lives, and apparently separate versions of truth about what really went wrong. So what exactly does Janelle mean when she accuses Kody of running a calculated protection scheme? Let's break down this alleged strategy that has the sister wives community completely stunned. According to Janelle's explosive theory, Kody has been deliberately positioning himself as the family scapegoat, willingly absorbing public criticism and fan backlash to keep Robyn's reputation spotless. Think about it. Every time controversy erupts, who takes the heat? Kody. Who gets painted as the unreasonable one? Kody. Who becomes the target of angry fans and family members? Always Kody. But Janelle is suggesting this isn't accidental. She believes Kody is intentionally playing the villain role, making increasingly controversial statements and decisions that draw fire away from Robyn and onto himself. It's like he's wearing a target on his back by choice, deflecting criticism that might otherwise land on his favorite wife. When financial decisions leave other family members struggling, Kody takes the blame. When custody battles tear the family apart, Kody becomes the unreasonable parent. When marriages implode, Kody gets labeled as the one who destroyed everything. Here's where this alleged strategy gets particularly sophisticated, according to Janelle's revelations. She's not just claiming Kody protects Robin through his actions, she's suggesting Robin actively influences those protective decisions from behind the scenes. Picture this dynamic: Robin identifying potential threats to her position or reputation, then subtly guiding Kody toward choices that eliminate those threats while keeping her hands clean. The manipulation happens in private conversations, behind closed doors, where cameras can't capture the real decision-making process. Janelle's theory paints Robin as a master strategist who understands exactly how to maintain her position as the good wife, while her sister wives get systematically alienated. Every time Kody makes a decision that favors Robin's children over his other kids, every time he chooses Robin's household needs over another wife's financial struggles, every time he sides with Robin in family conflicts, Janelle suggests these aren't just Kody's independent choices, but carefully orchestrated moves designed to protect Robin's image. The brilliance of this alleged protection scheme, according to Janelle, lies in its plausible deniability. Robin can maintain her position as the victim, the wife who's simply trying to keep her family together, while everyone else creates drama. She gets to appear reasonable, supportive, and long-suffering, while Kody absorbs all the criticism for decisions that ultimately benefit her most. It's like having a human shield that voluntarily jumps in front of every bullet aimed in her direction. But Janelle is exposing what she believes happens behind that public facade. She's suggesting that Robin's influence shapes Kody's most controversial decisions, from financial priorities to custody arrangements, to which relationships get sacrificed for the sake of family harmony. The strategy allegedly works because viewers see Kody making these choices independently, not recognizing the behind-the-scenes influence that guides those decisions. And here's the most damaging part of Janelle's accusations. She believes this protection strategy requires other family members to be thrown under the bus. For Robin to remain the innocent victim, someone else has to be the problem. For Robin's needs to be prioritized, other wives' concerns have to be dismissed. For Robin's children to receive favorable treatment, other kids have to accept less attention and resources. Janelle is essentially accusing them of running a sophisticated manipulation campaign that sacrifices everyone else's relationships and reputations to preserve one marriage, one image, one carefully constructed narrative about who deserves protection and who's expendable in this family hierarchy. To understand how this alleged protection scheme developed, we need to hop in the time machine and trace back through nearly 3 decades of Brown family history. Janelle didn't arrive at these explosive accusations overnight. She's connecting patterns that she believes have been building systematically since Robin entered the family picture. According to Janelle's revelations, what started as typical new wife adjustment has evolved into something far more calculated and destructive. Picture the early days when Janelle first married into this plural family structure. For years, she navigated the complex dynamics of sharing a husband with other wives, managing household finances while balancing everyone's needs, and raising children in a system that required constant negotiation and compromise. These weren't easy years, but Janelle suggests there was a certain equilibrium, a working system where conflicts got resolved and decisions considered everyone's welfare. Then Robin joined the family, and according to Janelle's theory, everything began shifting in ways that seemed innocent at first, but created devastating long-term consequences. The initial changes appeared to be standard new wife integration, Kody spending extra time with Robin, making sure she felt welcomed, helping her children adjust to their expanded family structure. Every woman who's witnessed blended family dynamics recognizes these adjustment periods as normal, even necessary. But Janelle is suggesting that what looked like typical honeymoon phase behavior never actually ended. Instead of settling into the established family rhythm, the special treatment continued, intensified, and eventually became the new normal. She believes Robin's influence over Kody's decision-making grew stronger year after year, while other wives' input gradually became less valued, less considered, and ultimately less relevant to major family choices. Fast forward through the years, and Janelle claims she can now see a clear pattern of decisions that consistently benefited Robin while creating problems for everyone else. Financial choices that prioritized Robin's household needs, custody arrangements that favored Robin's children, living situations that kept Robin close while other wives dealt with distance and separation, time allocation that left other relationships neglected while Robin's marriage flourished. The genius of this alleged long-term strategy, according to Janelle, lies in how gradual and seemingly reasonable each individual decision appeared. When Kody chose to spend extra time at Robin's house during a family crisis, it looked like appropriate support. When financial resources flowed toward Robin's needs during tight budget periods, it seemed like practical priority setting. When conflicts arose and Kody consistently sided with Robin's perspective, it appeared to be independent judgment rather than influenced decision-making. But now Janelle is viewing these decades through a different lens, recognizing what she believes was systematic favoritism disguised as circumstantial necessity. She's suggesting that every major family disruption, every relationship breakdown, every financial crisis somehow resulted in decisions that strengthened Robin's position, while weakening everyone else's security and influence within the family structure. The most damaging revelation in Janelle's historical analysis involves timing. She believes the protection strategy intensified whenever other wives began questioning family dynamics or pushing back against decisions that seemed unfair. According to her theory, moments when Mary expressed frustration, when Christine demanded equal treatment, or when Janelle herself raised concerns about financial priorities became triggers for even more elaborate protective measures around Robin. And here's where Janelle's pattern recognition gets particularly explosive. She suggests that family members who posed the biggest threat to Robin's favored position eventually found themselves pushed out entirely, not through direct confrontation, but through systematic alienation, increasingly unreasonable demands, and conflicts that made staying in the family structure impossible to maintain. According to Janelle's explosive revelations, Robin's influence over Kody operates like a sophisticated manipulation web, with tactics so subtle and strategic that they're almost invisible to casual observers. Janelle isn't just accusing Robin of typical wife preferences or normal marital influence, she's describing what she believes is a calculated system of psychological manipulation designed to control family decisions while maintaining complete plausible deniability. The first layer of this alleged manipulation involves what Janelle suggests is Robin's masterful use of emotional positioning. Instead of directly demanding preferential treatment, Robin allegedly presents herself as the family member most in need of protection, most vulnerable to criticism, most deserving of Kody's defensive instincts. She becomes the victim who requires shielding rather than the beneficiary who's receiving favorable treatment. This emotional framing transforms what could look like selfish demands into protective necessity. Janelle believes Robin has perfected the art of presenting her own needs as family emergencies while minimizing other wives' concerns as petty complaints. When Robin's household needs financial attention, it becomes a crisis requiring immediate intervention. When other wives express similar needs, they become examples of jealousy or unreasonable expectations. The same situation gets completely different framing depending on who's involved, and Kody allegedly responds to that framing rather than evaluating circumstances objectively. But here's where Janelle's accusations get even more sophisticated. She suggests Robin doesn't just influence individual decisions, she shapes Kody's entire worldview about family dynamics and relationship priorities. Through careful conversation management, strategic emotional responses, and subtle reinforcement of certain perspectives, Robin allegedly guides Kody toward viewing other wives' concerns as threats to family harmony rather than legitimate relationship issues that need addressing. The brilliance of this alleged manipulation system lies in how it makes Kody feel like he's making independent choices while actually following carefully planted suggestions. Janelle describes scenarios where Robin might express worry about family stability, concern about negative influences on the children, or anxiety about external criticism, then allow Kody to develop his own solutions to these planted concerns. When his solutions inevitably benefit Robin's position, she appears surprised by his generosity, rather than instrumental in achieving those outcomes. Janelle also believes Robin has mastered the timing of her emotional needs and strategic vulnerabilities, moments when other wives are gaining ground in family discussions, when financial decisions might favor other households, or when attention starts flowing toward other relationships become precisely when Robin allegedly experiences crises that require Kody's immediate focus and protective energy. These perfectly timed emergencies redirect family resources back toward Robin while making other wives appear selfish for pursuing their own needs during someone else's crisis. According to Janelle's theory, Robin's manipulation extends to managing information flow within the family. She allegedly controls what Kody knows about other wives' situations, filtering complaints and concerns through her own interpretation before they reach him. Other wives' legitimate grievances get reframed as jealousy or drama, while Robin's needs get presented as urgent family priorities, requiring immediate attention and resolution. The most devastating aspect of this alleged manipulation web involves how it turns family members against each other while keeping Robin above the conflict. When other wives react to obviously unfair treatment, their reactions become evidence of their problematic attitudes rather than natural responses to systematic favoritism. Robin gets to maintain her position as the peacemaker, trying to hold everyone together while everyone else appears to be creating unnecessary drama. Janelle suggests that this manipulation strategy requires constant maintenance and escalation to remain effective. As other family members recognize the patterns and begin pushing back, the protective measures around Robyn must become more extreme, the deflection tactics more dramatic, and the alienation of potential threats more complete. Janelle isn't making these explosive accusations based on hurt feelings alone. She's pointing to what she believes is a documented trail of favoritism, so obvious that every Sister Wives viewer has witnessed it play out season after season. The evidence she's highlighting paints a picture of systematic preference that goes far beyond typical marital dynamics into something much more calculated and devastating. Start with the financial evidence that Janelle knows intimately from managing household budgets for decades. She's suggesting that major family expenditures consistently flowed toward Robyn's needs while other wives dealt with financial constraints. When the family faced budget crises, somehow Robyn's household maintained stability while others struggled. When investment decisions needed making, priorities aligned with Robyn's preferences and security rather than equal family benefit. The housing arrangements tell another story, according to Janelle's revelations. While other wives dealt with temporary living situations, rental properties, and housing instability, Robyn's living arrangements remained consistently prioritized and secure. Geographic decisions that kept the family separated somehow always ensured Robyn stayed closest to Kody's daily attention and involvement. But the most damaging evidence Janelle highlights involves time allocation and emotional investment. She suggests tracking Kody's presence at family events, his involvement in different households. His attention to various children's needs reveals a pattern so skewed toward Robyn's family unit that other relationships suffered systematic neglect. When scheduling conflicts arose, Robyn's needs consistently won priority. The custody and parenting decisions provide what Janelle considers the clearest evidence of manipulation. She believes examining which children received Kody's active involvement, which family situations got his immediate attention, and which parenting conflicts received his supportive intervention reveals favoritism so extreme that some of his own biological children became effectively estranged. Janelle also points to crisis response patterns as evidence. When family emergencies arose, Kody's protective energy consistently flowed toward Robyn's concerns, while other wives' crises got minimized or delayed responses. The same types of problems received completely different priority levels depending on which wife experienced them. Perhaps most tellingly, Janelle suggests examining the pattern of family departures. As each wife reached breaking points with the favoritism, their exit experiences followed similar trajectories: increased conflict, unreasonable demands, systematic alienation, until leaving became the only viable option. Meanwhile, Robyn's position remained secure and strengthened with each departure. According to Janelle's explosive theory, this evidence trail reveals not accidental preference, but strategic manipulation designed to eliminate threats to Robyn's favored position while maintaining her image as the innocent victim of other people's jealousy and drama. Here's where Janelle's accusations reach nuclear levels of explosive. When Kody claims his ex-wives left due to jealousy toward Robyn, Janelle isn't just disputing that narrative. She's calling it masterful manipulation designed to rewrite history and avoid accountability for systematic favoritism. According to her revelations, the jealousy excuse represents the final layer of protection around Robyn, transforming legitimate grievances about unfair treatment into character flaws of the women raising those concerns. Think about the brilliance of this alleged deflection strategy. Instead of addressing documented favoritism, financial inequality, or systematic neglect, Kody frames everything as jealousy between women. Suddenly, the conversation shifts from his choices and their consequences to his ex-wives' supposed emotional inadequacies. The wives become the problem rather than the favoritism being the issue. Janelle suggests this jealousy narrative serves multiple strategic purposes in protecting Robyn's position. First, it invalidates any criticism by attributing it to emotional weakness rather than legitimate concern. When Christine expresses frustration about unequal treatment, it gets labeled jealousy. When Mary raises questions about financial priorities, jealousy again. When Janelle herself points out favoritism patterns, same response, just jealous women who can't handle sharing. But the real genius of this deflection, according to Janelle's theory, lies in how it positions Robyn as the innocent victim of other women's emotional problems. She becomes the wife who did nothing wrong except exist while other wives tortured themselves with jealousy and resentment. Robyn gets sympathy instead of scrutiny, protection instead of accountability for her role in family dynamics. Janelle is suggesting that this jealousy excuse allows Kody to avoid examining his own behavior entirely. Instead of asking why multiple wives developed similar complaints, why long-term marriages failed, or why his own children became estranged, he can simply blame everything on women being unable to control their jealous impulses toward his favorite wife. The most damaging aspect of this narrative manipulation involves how it gaslights the very real experiences of systematic unfair treatment. Women who balanced household budgets while watching resources flow elsewhere, who managed family schedules while seeing time allocation heavily skewed, who raised children while witnessing obvious parental favoritism. Their lived experiences get dismissed as jealous delusions rather than acknowledged as legitimate responses to documented inequality. According to Janelle's explosive revelations, calling it jealousy instead of favoritism represents the ultimate protection strategy, allowing both Kody and Robyn to maintain their victim narratives, while the women with actual grievances get painted as emotionally unstable troublemakers who destroyed their own family through petty jealousy. The Sister Wives community has absolutely exploded since Janelle's revelations hit, and the response is unlike anything we've seen in the show's long history. Facebook groups are buzzing with thousands of comments, Reddit threads are stretching into novel-length discussions, and longtime fans are experiencing what can only be described as collective awakening moments. Women who've followed this family for over a decade are suddenly seeing years of footage through completely different eyes. The most fascinating aspect of this community eruption involves fans connecting dots they never realized were there. Viewers are going back through seasons, screenshotting financial discussions, tracking time allocation patterns, and creating detailed timelines that support Janelle's explosive theory. The evidence compilation happening across social media platforms reads like investigative journalism, with fans uncovering patterns they'd previously dismissed as typical plural marriage dynamics. Group chats and quilting circle conversations have turned into impromptu sister wives analysis sessions, with women sharing their own experiences, recognizing similar manipulation tactics in personal relationships. The conversation has expanded beyond television entertainment into real discussions about financial control, emotional manipulation, and systematic favoritism in family structures. These aren't just fans gossiping anymore. They're women processing Janelle's revelations through their own lived experiences. What's particularly striking about the community response involves the generational divide in reactions. Older viewers, especially women who've managed household finances and navigated complex family dynamics, are expressing validation that their instincts about the favoritism were correct all along. They're sharing stories about recognizing red flags they couldn't articulate before Janelle provided the framework for understanding systematic manipulation. The internet sisterhood has also rallied around Janelle herself, praising her courage in finally speaking truth about dynamics she witnessed firsthand for nearly 3 decades. Comment sections are filled with women expressing gratitude that someone with insider knowledge validated what they'd been observing from the outside. The phrase, "finally someone said it," appears repeatedly across platforms. But the most powerful community reaction involves women sharing their own stories of recognizing similar patterns in their personal relationships. Janelle's accusations about systematic favoritism, disguised as circumstantial necessity, have resonated far beyond Sister Wives viewers, sparking conversations about manipulation tactics and emotional deflection strategies that many women have experienced but couldn't name. The community momentum behind Janelle's revelations suggests this isn't just television drama anymore. It's become a catalyst for broader discussions about recognizing manipulation, trusting instincts about unfair treatment, and refusing to accept jealousy explanations for legitimate grievances about systematic inequality. Janelle's explosive revelations provide a masterclass in recognizing manipulation tactics that extend far beyond reality television drama. Her accusations about systematic favoritism and strategic deflection offer warning signs that every woman should recognize, whether dealing with family dynamics, workplace politics, or personal relationships. Let's break down the red flag patterns that Janelle's theory illuminates. The first major warning sign involves what relationship experts call triangulation, when someone creates conflict between others while positioning themselves above the drama. According to Janelle's accusations, Robyn perfected this tactic by influencing decisions that pitted other wives against each other while maintaining her own innocent victim status. Watch for people who somehow remain untouchable while chaos swirls around them, especially when that chaos consistently benefits their position. Financial control represents another crucial red flag that Janelle highlighted through her budget management experience. When resources consistently flow toward one person's needs while others face restrictions, and when those decisions get justified through emotional manipulation rather than transparent discussion, you're witnessing systematic favoritism disguised as necessity. Trust your instincts when financial priorities seem skewed beyond reasonable explanation. The crisis timing pattern that Janelle described deserves particular attention. When someone repeatedly experiences urgent needs precisely when others are gaining ground or receiving attention, you might be witnessing strategic emotional manipulation. Genuine crises happen randomly. Manufactured crises happen when they serve specific purposes. Janelle's theory also exposes the reframe and deflect tactic, where legitimate concerns get transformed into character flaws of the person raising them. When your grievances about unfair treatment get consistently labeled as jealousy, drama, or emotional instability, you're experiencing a classic manipulation technique designed to avoid accountability while discrediting your perspective. The gradual escalation pattern represents perhaps the most dangerous warning sign. Janelle suggests recognizing when initially reasonable accommodations slowly expand into systematic inequality. Manipulation often works through incremental boundary erosion rather than dramatic violations, making it harder to identify and easier to rationalize. Information filtering presents another red flag worth noting. When one person controls what others know about situations, consistently interpreting events through their own lens before sharing details, you're witnessing potential manipulation of family or group dynamics. Healthy relationships involve transparent communication rather than strategic information management. Most importantly, Janelle's revelations highlight the power of trusting your own observations and experiences. When multiple people develop similar concerns about the same person or situation, when your instincts consistently signal unfairness despite surface explanations, when documentation supports patterns of inequality, trust those signals rather than accepting explanations that dismiss your legitimate concerns as emotional overreaction. The devastating aftermath of this alleged favoritism strategy reads like a case study in how systematic manipulation can destroy everything it touches. According to Janelle's explosive revelations, the cost of protecting one marriage has been the obliteration of an entire family structure, leaving broken relationships, estranged children, and fractured trust that may never recover. Start with the most heartbreaking casualty: Kody's relationships with his own children. Multiple adult children have publicly distanced themselves from their father, and Janelle's theory suggests this isn't coincidental teenage rebellion, but the predictable result of systematic parental favoritism. When children witness one set of siblings receiving consistent priority while their needs get minimized, alienation becomes inevitable. The father who once prided himself on his large connected family now faces the reality of children who want nothing to do with him. The marriage casualties tell their own devastating story. 3 decades of relationship building, shared history, and family creation reduced to legal separations and bitter public disputes. According to Janelle's accusations, each departing wife followed a similar trajectory, recognizing the favoritism, attempting to address it, facing increasing hostility for raising concerns, and ultimately choosing departure over continued systematic mistreatment. What started as a plural marriage experiment has become a series of relationship casualties. Financial stability represents another major casualty of this alleged protection strategy. Managing resources to consistently favor one household while others struggle creates long-term economic damage that extends beyond immediate budget constraints. Women who invested decades in family building find themselves starting over financially, rebuilding security systems they thought were permanently established. The psychological damage may prove most devastating of all. According to Janelle's theory, family members spent years questioning their own perceptions, accepting explanations that didn't match their lived experiences, and internalizing blame for systematic unfair treatment. The gaslighting involved in labeling legitimate grievances as jealousy creates lasting damage to self-trust and relationship confidence. Perhaps most tragically, the alleged protection strategy ultimately failed to protect anyone. The family structure collapsed anyway, public criticism intensified rather than decreased, and the children who were supposed to benefit from stability instead witnessed family destruction. Even Robin's protected position exists within a fractured family system that bears little resemblance to the plural marriage vision that originally brought everyone together. The ripple effects extend to future generations, with grandchildren growing up in a family environment defined by estrangement rather than connection. Family gatherings become exercises in managing conflict rather than celebrating relationships, and traditions get lost in the debris of systematic manipulation and strategic favoritism. The explosive aftermath of Janelle's revelations leaves the Brown family standing at a crossroads where accountability, legal implications, and future relationships hang in the balance. After decades of systematic favoritism allegedly disguised as family harmony, the question becomes whether any of the damaged relationships can be repaired, or if this manipulation strategy has created irreversible destruction. Legal experts watching this family drama unfold suggest that custody arrangements and financial settlements may face renewed scrutiny in light of Janelle's accusations. When systematic favoritism affects parenting decisions and resource allocation, family courts take notice. The documented patterns that Janelle describes could influence future legal proceedings involving child custody, support obligations, and asset division. Financial records don't lie, and if Janelle's theory about skewed resource allocation proves accurate, legal consequences may follow. The accountability question becomes particularly complex when dealing with manipulation tactics that leave few concrete fingerprints. How do you hold someone responsible for influence rather than direct action? How do you address systematic favoritism that operated through emotional manipulation rather than explicit demands? Janelle's accusations describe sophisticated psychological tactics that may be devastating to family relationships but difficult to prosecute in legal settings. For Kody himself, the path forward requires confronting decades of choices that allegedly prioritized one relationship over all others. The children who've distanced themselves, the wives who've departed, the family structure that's completely collapsed, all represent consequences of the protection strategy that Janelle claims he willingly implemented. Rebuilding those relationships would require acknowledgement of systematic unfair treatment rather than continued deflection through jealousy narratives. The Sister Wives community continues tracking this family's journey with the intensity of people who've invested over a decade in watching their dynamics unfold. Viewers who initially tuned in for entertainment about alternative family structures now find themselves witnessing a masterclass in manipulation tactics and their long-term consequences. Most importantly for viewers processing these revelations, Janelle's courage in speaking truth about systematic manipulation provides validation for anyone who's experienced similar dynamics in their own relationships. Her willingness to name the patterns she witnessed offers permission for others to trust their instincts about unfair treatment and refuse to accept manipulation disguised as love or protection. The Brown family's future remains unwritten, but the consequences of alleged systematic favoritism have already rewritten their history. Whether accountability leads to healing or these revelations simply document the final chapter of a family destroyed by strategic manipulation, Janelle's explosive accusations have changed how we understand power dynamics within this plural marriage experiment forever. Tap like, hit subscribe, and keep those notifications buzzing, because something tells me the next round of Sister Wives revelations will be even juicier than these nuclear accusations about manipulation and systematic family favoritism.